Welcome to another edition of the CineFiles. And I want to thank again Mike Felcher for that opening. Steve just saw it. What do you think?
God bless you,
That was a
Felcher.
really good opening.
Yeah, I told the guys.
It's like a real show, man.
We're there. We're moving up. Anyway, before we begin, I want to read our first fan letter, which many of you can participate in if you email us at cinefiles@dvdmaniacs.net. Hopefully that will flash up there.
Yeah, don't
soon.
break your fingers rushing to the keyboard. You.
Aloha. I'm watching your MNN show on Friday, November 25th, the day after Thanksgiving, and I'm really enjoying it. I particularly enjoyed the discussion of Shane Black. I hadn't really thought of the Lethal Weapon screenplay in quite that way before. Do you have any copies of each show, preferably on DVD? I'm still a little dazed from Turkey Day, so there's some things I'd like to see again on the show. Any chance? Thanks, Phil.
So not only is he our first fan letter, but he's a mooch.
Hey, well, I'm glad to have a mooch. Thank you, Phil, for taking the time to write. We do respect our fans, and we will see what we can do best to accommodate your wishes.
And
there.
a mooch is different from the gooch, who we all know from,
Tortured
different
Arnold.
strokes. Yeah, that would torture Arnold Drummond.
Yes. Well, I want to go on to our topic, our only topic of today, which is a director that is probably one of my favorite directors of all time.
One
John
of my
Carpenter.
favorites.
Mine too.
John Carpenter. The man has started.
One more time. Let's say it.
John Carpenter.
Shout it.
John
say it loud
Carpenter.
and proud.
I'm very happy to do a show on him, and let's start out with the beginning of his career, which will be Assault on Precinct 13, which was his maiden voyage into 35 filmmaking. What do you guys think of the wonderful Assault on Precinct 13, which has been ruined shamelessly in a remake?
Well, I love the original, and I saw the remake, and I didn't so much like the remake. But I mean, the original is just as good as it gets, and it has probably my favorite Carpenter scene of all time, which I'm going to ruin it.
Oh, go ahead. Mike's a
ahead.
spoiler.
He always does anyway.
As head ruiner, I
It's
give
been
you
what?
permission.
It's been, 30 years? I mean, you had time.
Yeah,
So,
come
on. The little girl being shot through the ice cream cone, just
Classic.
savagely killing a kid.
And that is Kim Richards too, Mrs. Disney actress, which pretty damn shocking scene even back then for a girl to be massively murdered.
And I was hoping that Haley Mills would appear in a John Carpenter film so she could be murdered, but unfortunately that didn't happen.
Yeah, well, hell, you can always watch
Another
Pollyanna.
Disney actress. I'm sorry. Go on.
Oh, I know who she is.
Also, I want to take into account, I love the one thing that never gets enough credit for is the wonderful acting by Austin Stoker.
Oh, yeah.
No one ever talks about him when they talk
He
about
was on the A-Team.
And he's also in my favorite blaxploitation film, which is also known as Abby, the blaxploitation version of The Exorcist, which is a must-see.
Sounds great.
Well, this is one of the many movies that John Carpenter does where he pays homage to his movie-making hero, Howard Hawks, by remaking Rio Bravo. And one thing that he does very effectively in Assault on Precinct 13, and the one thing I noticed the most about the film when I saw it and really enjoyed it, the faceless villains. For the most part, the villains are pretty much faceless. They're the gang members that surround the thing. You don't really get a good look at them.
They never talk.
Yeah, and they never talk. And that's, he dehumanizes them, which makes a really cool villain.
Another thing I like, too, that one thing I never really thought about until just now is that there is no lead bad guy.
No. And
They-
that was totally ruined in the remake.
I love
and
that.
you knew they would do that in the remake.
Yeah.
That you would see the bad guy.
Why does someone need to be the head of a gang? You can just be, all equal
it's a
and
mixed
Because
mayhem.
today's movie making, especially studio movie making, they think they need to spell it out for the morons in the audience.
And they also want when they kill this person, right, or whatever. It's everyone's he's the hero, he's the lead. Let's
Exactly.
I think they do that also because they feel that when families take their kids that are under 6 to the films, that the kids under 6 will figure out who the bad guy is because there's enough people in Manhattan that take their fucking children to R-rated movies and they shouldn't. And there you go. Don't you like the new Assault on Precinct 13?
I thought it was
Oh, God.
entertaining. I mean, I don't like it more than the original, but I had no problems with the
Now, why did you like it?
Because it was a perfect popcorn movie. I sat there, I was entertained, and I really had no real
Steve,
problem
you're
with
dying
it.
here, man. You need an
I know,
aspirin?
Steve.
I thought it opened. Well, actually, I do need an aspirin, but I thought it opened really strong. Like the way it opened was great. But then, as soon as because it opened, the way it opened was like nothing like the original Assault on Precinct 13. So it's almost like you're watching a new movie. But then, as soon as they go into that precinct, and start fucking things up.
It's the same movie.
Yeah.
Almost.
And it has so many gaps of logic in that movie. It's just so stupid, some of the things these characters do. I mean, the Maria Bello character only exists just to go, ah, and then just, basically kill herself.
And she's a much more talented actress than just
Who's
going,
that?
ah.
I like Maria Bello.
I do too.
So do I.
And I also want to say in the new...
I like her a little too much, actually.
So do I. It's especially after History of Violence.
Yeah, hey now.
Hey, lucky Mr. Mortensen.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Go.
But yeah, so anyway, we can...
All right, enough. What next one?
Well,
Wait, hold on, let's just...
Keep on.
one thing I want to mention
Oh.
about Precinct 13. One thing I want to mention too, another thing. The score.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's almost something that you could go on with all of Carpenter's film. The man is a genius when it comes to scoring.
not only writes,
it's just
he
him and the
does his music.
synthesizer. That's what's great about it.
He said he can't even read music. He just plays what sounds natural to his ear. I mean, he's very talented. He's only done...
And automatically, he's better than Lionel Richie.
Well, that's not saying much.
Dancing on the Ceiling is pretty awesome.
Yeah, but...
Directed
Lionel
by
Richie.
that
Where the hell
video.
did you get Lionel Richie from?
I'm sorry.
But John Carpenter's done basically the score for all of his films except a couple. The Thing is one,
Thing, yeah.
and I believe Memoirs of an Invisible Man, which less about
Well,
later on that
now
list.
after Assault on Precinct 13, didn't he do
He went on to do Halloween.
Halloween?
Wait. A movie we are not going to talk about because everybody talks about it. Everybody knows Halloween is great. We all love it.
I
It's
concur.
a classic. Let's skip that and The Thing. We
Let's
all
go
love
right-
it. It's not that I hate them. It's just that we've talked about it enough.
They're
Let's
two
go-
masterpieces. And
Exactly.
What more can you say? They're great.
Let's go to The
Exactly.
Fog. I love The Fog.
Let's go on to The Fog. The Fog. Unfortunately,
did
not
not
the
like The
remake.
Fog.
Not the remake. We're talking about the
You
original.
didn't need to remake it, but they and I want to say that you didn't need to remake Assault on Precinct 13, and you didn't need to remake The Fog, but because they have remade both of them, more money goes to John Carpenter, which means he's less marginalized.
Well, I'm happy the man's making some money finally.
Exactly.
I mean, he got screwed out in the Halloween deal. He basically got bupkis. But The Fog, I mean,
I didn't like it.
I don't think The
I
Fog
really
is
liked
that-
it.
I
Great
think-
story.
I
Great
don't like it.
story.
You really think it has a
Very
good story?
yeah, great story. Great creepiness. I thought Jamie Lee Curtis was good as the the hitchhiking wanton temptress or whatever. Except it is very weak on its leading man, kind of the sloppy blue-collar sheriff. I don't know the actor's name, Jeff, or
I don't
Is that
know the name
Is that
of the
the guy?
actor.
Is that Hal Holbrook? No, Hal Holbrook's the priest.
No, he's the
Priest.
priest.
Yeah.
And then you have the Jamie Curtis and the guy who picks her up.
Yeah, the guy that picks her up.
That's a very good actor, actually. Tom Atkins.
Yeah. He's just kind of
Tom
a.
Atkins.
He's a great actor.
He's basically a
Night of the
leading.
Creeps.
He's a leading man in
Grill
this.
me.
But he's a sloppy, beer-gutted sheriff that takes
And
home.
we like him for that.
I like
And I'll
him.
tell you, and he takes home Jamie
don't
Lee
like the
Curtis and
movie.
sleeps with her, and she was in her prime. God bless him. But the leading man, a little weak. But I'm just saying, one of the great scenes was one of the pirate ghosts or whatever reaching through the stained glass in the church to get to the people. That was awesome.
I like a lot of the scenes in The Fog. I just think it's a great concept. But I don't think the script is that good. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
I agree
her
with
working
you
at a
there.
radio station and like, woo, there's a lot of fog tonight. Ooh.
I think it
There's a
sets a
shit.
great tone. But who would have ever thought that the fog would be carrying these murderous ghosts? I think that premise alone is worth it.
We got 30 years worth of material to
What do you think of The Fog? Come on.
I think it's okay. I
think
don't
it's-
love it. I don't hate it. Kind of indifferent towards it.
The only
don't
thing
like
missing was a nude scene from Jamie Lee Curtis, or just nude scene for Adrian Barbeau.
Okay, well, I'm going to
move
go on the
on.
next one. The next one. All right, well, after that, he did Escape from New York.
Oh,
Is
classic,
I like-
a classic.
classic.
New York.
I mean, one of the great modern westerns of all time.
I agree, and that's a good thing they cast Kurt Russell. Do you know who they originally wanted in the lead for that? Was Charles Bronson.
Oh,
Which, don't get me wrong, I love Bronson.
It wouldn't
but
have
he's
been
too
that
old.
bad with Charles
it wouldn't have been that bad, but
Come on,
Russell is
I love
just.
Bronson.
Bronson
He's a
would've been
hero.
good.
Russell's great.
Russell
It's a
was
role that defined
when
him.
he did that, he became an instant icon. He went from, and that's what got him away from his Disney years when he was the fresh-faced boy that was putting flubber on his shoes and drinking weird shit and everything. He became Snake Plissken.
The thing
I still want to be Snake Plissken.
The thing that I'm very impressed with that movie, the most impressive thing to me is that he had no money for this movie. I mean, this is a huge movie. I mean, just think about it. New York City is a prison. He did this movie for like $7 million.
When you watch that film for the first time, when you're a kid and you watch it for the first time, it blows your mind because you're thinking this movie was made millions of dollars. He had all of Manhattan as a set and everything, which he really didn't. I mean, he had St. Louis as a set.
All St. Louis.
Exactly.
And then they had in the DVD you actually have the scene that was cut out, which was
Finally.
the bank robbing scene. There was from the Laserdisc, and there's a bank robbing scene where they're using the new Atlanta train. They had a monorail system built, or a subway system of some sort above ground train in Atlanta, and it had that futuristic look. But it was kind of funny that they were getting on what looked like a subway and going 300 miles or whatever it was.
I love the film. I think it's one of his best. I think
Donald Pleasance, awesome.
A British president. Hey, I agree with it. It's
Lee
fine.
Van Cleef.
Lee Van Cleef, yes.
And let's see who
Lee
else.
Van Cleef, his last role, I think.
One of his. No, he died in '89, so he made a few.
But he was awesome in that.
He was great. And then we also, don't forget, we had Harry Dean Stanton,
Isaac Hayes, Adrian Barbeau,
Ernest Borgnine.
Ernest
The Duke
Borgnine.
is a number one.
Yeah.
It's a stacked cast. It's a good movie.
A number one, the Duke.
Well, after that success, which was a great movie, got him a deal in Hollywood. He went to do The Thing, which we already talked about.
We already worship that film.
It's my favorite
All right.
horror film of all time. No more about that one.
Top 5 for
All
me.
right. Then, unfortunately, we have to talk about this. The Thing bombed, so it cost him a lot of Hollywood gigs, and he took the next one he could get, which was Christine, which is an adaptation of Stephen King's novel, and it's not Stephen King's Christine, it's John Carpenter's Christine.
But it's very similar to the book, and it's still a very good movie.
Similar to the book. I mean,
It's an inspired movie. It's very enjoyable. It's not one of his classics, but it's a very, very watchable film.
Exactly.
I really like it. I think the reason that it's good is the performances by Keith Gordon, who I'm not really the biggest fan of as a director.
I like Keith Gordon. I like him as a director.
He's a good actor.
Creepy looking.
He's very good, and John Stockwell's great, and so is
Catherine Mary Stewart.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I can't remember her name. She was so good in that movie. The whole cast made the movie interesting, except there were some problems I thought with like the conclusion with the car. I mean, in the original book, the LeBay character, the guy he bought the car from, was actually a ghost in the car and possessing him, and they changed a whole bunch of things in the movie for I don't know why, but it didn't scare me that much. I thought it was more entertaining than it was scary. What did you guys think?
I don't know if it was. It had a couple scary moments.
I saw it as a kid, so it scared me.
I saw it as a kid too.
As I got older, I realized it's just more entertaining these days.
Actually, when I was a kid,
you got older and you realized it's just a movie.
There is one scary scene. There is one scary scene that did scare me. There's a scene where the big fat baddie runs down the hall. And he's like, "Oh, I'm safe,"
and the car squeezes itself in. That's awesome.
That's a great scene.
And trapping the other kid in the car and basically baking him alive.
Great special effects, by the way.
With the dashboard melting and everything.
Great special effects we have to mention. That's amazing how the car. I mean, that was before CGI too, so pretty damn impressive.
But John Carpenter when it comes to special effects and budget, has always done a lot with very little. That's his career.
Okay. Well, the next film we'll talk about. Well, we're not really to get into it because it's not really a horror film, but is Starman, and from Starman he went on to do Big Trouble in Little China, which has probably become his most one of his most.
Actually,
famous
it was
films.
It's funny. Aside from Halloween, that garnered him the most respect for basically starting up the slasher film and being an indie and making so much money. It was Starman that got him the most respect.
And
he
the
made
most
this
money.
Sweet little film. And got this performance from Jeff Bridges, which I believe was nominated for an Academy Award. And Karen Allen was in that. And my friend back in Omaha, Mike, he has an eternal crush on Karen Allen. Starman's one of his favorite films. It's a sweet film.
I met her recently at Chiller.
How'd she look? How's she aged?
She was in a Q&A with John Landis.
How has she aged, though? That's my
She looks
question.
okay.
Okay.
She looks like normal.
Cool.
Karen Allen, you out there?
still cute.
Hello.
Big Trouble in Little China, I believe, is a certain favorite film, or one of favorite films of a certain panelist.
Who could that be? I have no idea.
I believe it's Mr. Sabellis.
I do love Big Trouble in Little China.
Who doesn't?
Actually, I don't think that's his favorite. We're getting to his favorite.
We'll get
One
to
of
it.
it.
One of his favorites.
I mean, Carpenter's made so many of my favorites, but I love Big Trouble in Little China, and it's my favorite Kurt Russell performance.
Really?
I think Jack Burton is just. I think it's like, to me, it just solidifies everything I love about Kurt Russell, which is he's willing to humiliate himself.
Oh, he's such a big goof in the movie.
Because
he is a ham.
In the end fight scene, he has like lipstick smeared all over his face. He gets knocked out in the end fight scene, if you remember, like when he shoots the gun up in the air and the brick.
Yeah, the brick falls on his head.
I just love it when he goes after the guys with all the knife. you know.
Yeah.
Well, what I love about the film is that the way they make the film, you think Jack Burton's supposed to be the big hero and everything, and it ends up being his friend who's the real hero,
the
and he's
sidekick.
really the sidekick. And he doesn't realize it ever. And so
That's actually
what
a good
I
point.
love
I love that's
about
actually
the
a very
film.
interesting point where he make him the dummy and and then you
Yeah.
have the real hero. I love that.
Exactly.
What? And to me, out of all his films, it's the most surreal of his films
Yeah.
because he has these things just come out of left field all the time, like the giant worm that comes out, that dragon worm or whatever that just pulls the guy and they have to fight him. I mean, it looks really fake and the effects aren't that good, but just having this giant worm appear out of nowhere to eat somebody and that really, really spooky looking orange gorilla thing, that gorilla
yes.
demon
With, like,
that
the
helps
cross
out.
eyes.
Oh yeah, I mean that was awesome. I mean.
James Hong was a lot of fun too as the lead villain.
James Hong,
Yeah,
who
he's-
is in
yes.
every single,
Chinatown.
he's in
Rising
every
Sun.
single film that needs that stock Asian villain.
Wayne's World 2.
He's even in a commercial recently where he plays a stock Asian villain. Again, the man has made a career of being stock Asian villains.
But he's good at it.
He's
very
good.
good at
He's
it.
very good.
I like him a lot in that film. Well, I mean, also I want to mention too. I love the lead song by John Carpenter. When you can actually see on the
Big
DVD
Trouble.
the Big China, Little
Big trouble in Little China.
I love that.
I like any 80s movie that ends with their title being sung over the credits.
Oh, it's every
Like
movie.
any 80s movie.
You know,
Get those
what's another thing that's very interesting is that on the DVD of the Carpenter. That's the one thing I want to talk about. Carpenter Russell commentaries, awesome.
They're amazing. They're
Amazing.
so much fun.
And he talks about how the studio saw the film, and they saw it, and they were horrified at the movie because they said that, like you said, Jack Burton's supposed to be the hero, and he's the
Exactly.
biggest idiot in this movie. And so he actually made him shoot this scene where he goes into an office with, remember the Egg guy? I think his name is Egg.
Yeah, the old guy.
Victor Wong. Yeah, who's also in, we'll get to next, Prince of Darkness.
He's also, isn't he in Gremlins?
As Burak, the professor.
No,
That's
Gremlins.
that's it, Birak. But
He's in Three Ninjas.
He goes, oh yes, there was this whole thing with this man, and he basically makes this introduction for this hero. And the studio really hated the film, and it bombed big time.
Actually, it was #1 the first week it came out. Then it dropped off.
Yeah, the studios. John Carpenter actually said that caused a lot of damage to his career because they said that he would never work with 20th Century Fox again. So. That was Barry Diller when he was running the studio at that time. So if you have a great
Well, that's when the movie studio system really started going downhill when it became all finances and not art anymore. That's
Exactly.
when, it's one of the few times, or it's not one of the few times, but it's one of the first times when we saw studios going from really trying to make good, meaningful movies, fun movies, to just making movies for money.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, John Carpenter was just disenfranchised as you guys with the whole Hollywood filmmaking system. So he decided to go to Shep Gordon, who was Alice Cooper's manager, and he founded a company, Shep Gordon, named Alive Films, and he produced 2 films for John Carpenter, which were very low budget films. But they allowed Carpenter complete artistic freedom. And if you ask me, those are 2 of his most interesting films. The first one, which is my second favorite, Behind the Thing, is Prince of Darkness.
I love it. I love it. I may have stated this on a show before,
Please
and
do.
I'm going to repeat myself again. And I actually asked Carpenter what gave him the idea for this far-fetched, awesome idea. And if you complain again, I'm going to kill you. He talked about what was it? Quantum physics.
Quantum physics.
He was doing research in New York, doing press for Big Trouble in Little China, and he came up with quantum physics as a storyline and read up on that. But I've also read, too, that he was very influenced by the Quatermass series, which is a BBC hero and radio hero.
In fact, he is actually credited as Martin Quatermass as the screenwriter. That's his pseudonym.
Exactly. So he was very influenced by the Quatermass. But the idea of people in the future being threatened by Satan and sending SOS signals into the past to these people that actually have to deal with Satan coming back to life. Awesome. Just awesome.
I love that. Didn't you love the idea where people in the future could contact people in the past through their dreams? I thought that was very interesting.
It's a good movie.
I think it's a very scary movie. It scared the crap out of
Makeup
me.
is awesome.
Oh, yes.
I mean, the whole scene where the
woman wakes up
zombie,
all
the
neurotic.
woman, the woman is trying to pull Satan through the mirror, the liquid mirror. I mean, awesome. Would you stop sighing
All right,
and
what
breathing?
don't you
What's
like
the
about
problem?
it? What don't
Yeah,
you like
come
about
on.
it? Come on.
I just
Come on,
like
what
it.
is that?
I'm
Stop your
sorry.
smiling. Explain it seriously.
What? I just didn't like it. I rented it one night. I'm sitting there.
How long
and
ago?
I'm just,
Too deep for you?
No, it
How long
wasn't
ago?
too deep. I like deep.
How long
Wasn't
ago did
enough
it?
Probably
young
about,
female
like-
detectives in it for you?
Oh, God. It was like 8 years ago, and stop taking pot shots
Did
at
you
my
see?
other
You didn't
leg.
see it widescreen. That's a movie that needs to be seen widescreen.
I saw it at the theater.
I did too. I saw it with you actually before we knew each other.
Wow. That's amazing.
No,
It was synergy.
And,
were
you know,
at the same
and,
screening.
you know
You
what's
guys hang
funny
out?
is I called that when it first came out at the theater. I called the theater and asking. I was 17. It was rated R, so they weren't going to let you in unless you were 18. Like an idiot, I call up and go, "Are you guys checking IDs?" And they're like, "Yes." And I hung up. I'm like, "Oh."
That's a very good idea.
That story was more entertaining than the movie.
No, son of
Whoa,
a.
whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
come on now.
Whoa.
But then again, you saw it when you were what, a fetus? I mean,
No,
you need
I
to see
saw it
again.
when I was like 18. I'm sorry.
Whoa.
Come on.
That's
Whoa.
one thing I want to mention, though, because you talk about John Carpenter actually uses the Panavision widescreen lens better than anybody out there, and all his films must be
His
seen
long
widescreen.
shots are brilliant.
You can't watch
They
I
are
will
it.
agree
so.
with that.
You can't watch
His
Precinct
long
on it.
shots and his lighting are amazing. And I'll tell you, one great instance of the long shot is the corridor in his next film we're going to discuss, They Live.
We'll get into that.
Where
Hold
on,
they're
let's
in
go
the
right now.
alien
Let's go into
corridor.
it.
You're not sure if they're in a ship or what, which
Okay,
is cool.
that's it. That's it. That's all.
Yes,
That's
but
it.
he-
Prince of Darkness, my second favorite Carpenter
Let's
film.
go
Now we're
on,
going to go to
please.
They Live. This is Steve. Go ahead.
This is
Steve.
my favorite
His
Carpenter
favorite movie of all
movie.
time.
This is one of the earliest horror movies I saw, and like,
I come to what is it? I forgot.
I have
Damn it.
I come to
bubblegum
chew-
and kick ass.
Thank
I'm
you.
all out of bubblegum.
Thank
Right.
you.
Film stars Roddy Piper, one of my
Rowdy
favorite actors.
Roddy Piper.
Yeah, well, isn't he just credited as Roddy Piper?
I think so. But I
He was
just,
trying to
I
be
like
Well,
throwing
he's
it
rowdy
out.
to me, so
He's
Rowdy
Rowdy Piper to
Piper.
me.
Great actor, better wrestler, and he's a homeless drifter, finds a pair of sunglasses, and he can see these aliens hiding out in society as rich white people.
Yeah, basically the glasses that he has reveals every single subliminal message
Yeah.
that we're not picking up as a society, and it's basically
Social commentary.
It's
Yeah.
social
Commentary.
commentary by Carpenter on the 80s and
Yeah.
the
Reagan era.
And the
the
social
Reagan
commentary
years.
is just right there. It's not like hidden. It's just like
No,
right there.
I think if you're stupid, you're not going to pick up on
Okay.
it.
When I was
You're stupid.
when I saw it when I was like about 12, I didn't get it. I just thought it was a really cool space movie. Then I watched it like I don't know 10 years ago, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, when you're a kid, you're just like, what the fuck? This is
Yeah,
so
they're
cool.
putting the
Hey
glasses
baby,
on.
what's wrong? I just
Yeah.
remember that line. I never forgot.
Also, lest we not forget, one of the greatest fight scenes in movie
Keith
history.
David, I was just
Keith
Bare
David
fist.
versus Roddy Piper.
That is
Real
a
fight.
fucking fight. It's 5 minutes. It's over 5 minutes.
That
of time.
is
No
awesome.
cutting.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's just knock
One
down,
of the
drag out.
best
And these are two
fight
real
scenes.
tough
Just when you
guys.
think it's over, it just keeps going. Like
And
they
it
use
keeps going.
everything.
It's
Exactly.
vicious. There's eye gouging. There's suplexes.
And it's a
there's
fight scene just for the sake of having a fight scene.
headlocks. Just punt. Yeah, exactly.
That's one thing I
Pile
want to mention
driver.
too is that both of those films, Prince of Darkness and They Live, are two films that he did for low budgets. I mean, really low budgets, so you can make a damn entertaining movie, a science
you
fiction
can.
film on a big scale for nothing.
But the makeup
They live.
Great.
and the writing were so good
Carpenter.
that that's the thing. You can have a huge budget, and if the writing's not there and the direction's not there and the heart is not there, it is not going to amount to crap.
True.
That's the one thing I want to say about that film. You actually see a lot more of Carpenter's, his energy in those two films than anything else he did since, the
I mean,
thing.
it has his the standard thing that he likes to use, which is like the loner character, kind of the Western character coming into a new town. He loves
John
doing
Nada.
that. Yeah, John Nada just coming into this town, backpack and flannel and.
And he's great, He talks about how he just wants to do a solid, honest day's work, and you're buying into this working class hero, and he even finds himself into this homeless person's camp with a blind person and a missionary, and they're in this church, and you see him smuggling boxes. He's got you hooked right from the beginning.
George Buck
And the-
Flowers in it.
Yeah, exactly. Buck Flowers,
By the way,
a
wanna-
Carpenter regular.
He just died recently, so that's
Sorry.
a way to honor him. Just to
George
say-
Buck Flower.
Yes, he did. That's
Along with
unfortunate.
Carpenter films and the famous stripper movie Taking It Off.
Also,
And Ilsa, She Wolf of the SS, and Back to the Future.
Yep.
yes, he's in all of them. Crazy drunk driver.
Yeah, he's a great.
I was after They Live, it was 4 years before Carpenter did another film, I think, because he was really just, tired of the studio system. And he came back and then he made a really big studio film, Memoirs of an Invisible Man, which
Terrible.
won't get into that. I don't blame him. Great special effects.
2 words.
No,
But it was
no-
shot really well. Like it had a
Chevy Chase.
It had like a good look to it, though.
Not a
and,
good movie.
and Sam Neill as a villain wasn't that bad. I mean, he was a little bit too mustache twirling in it, but it
Well,
doesn't really warrant
I know not
too
to
many
say.
words.
Well, we only have a few minutes left, so I want to go to the film that I really want to talk about, which is one I know you guys agree with me. in The Mouth of Madness.
I love it.
Love
It's
it.
a good movie.
I think that's probably his best directed film in the first half of that movie anyway.
I'm telling you, it is so good. The special effects were awesome.
Sam Neill is awesome.
And it was one of, if not the, maybe one of two, one of the best interpretations of the creatures and the mood and the atmosphere that H.P. Lovecraft, the horror author, which is the influence of In the Mouth of Madness, what Carpenter brings to that. I mean, the tentacles that come out of the bottom of the door, the kid with the old face.
And it's not hokey, the whole movie.
All the
I
creatures
like
that come down the tunnel. I mean, that is awesome when Sam Neill is running. Yes.
Let's go to our. We got 2 left, so let's do it. Crank them out quick. His next film would be Vampires, which a lot of people.
Actually, you skipped a couple there.
I did skip. Yes, I did, didn't I? Well, I don't want to talk about
Village
Village
of the Damned.
It's terrible.
Sucked.
A piece of
Escape
shit.
from LA.
Bad.
Escape from LA is his worst.
I was
It's
skipping.
worst.
I actually
It's bad.
enjoyed it.
All right, let's
I
just go
enjoyed
right to Vampires. I love Vampires.
I love
I
Vampires
hated
too.
it.
I fucking
I
hate
thought
it.
it had some good scenes, but I did not like it as a
Steve,
whole.
we got to tag team these guys. That's a great movie.
I anticipated it. I couldn't wait for it, and when it came out, it did not disappoint me. It had everything I wanted.
I
from
like
it.
James Woods'
I
character.
did everything
And
that
Tom
he
C.
did
Griffith.
except enjoy it
And
because
I
I read the
saw
book.
Halloween
I
Night at
was
midnight.
going crazy that I wanted to see this. I saw it. I wanted so badly to like it, but they really screwed the ending because it's Daniel Baldwin that's supposed to be the hero, and it's supposed to be
Oh, wow.
James Wood as the
Who
villain.
cares? I like it. That's that. Now let's go to the final one, because we don't have much time. This will be our last one tonight.
Talk about a rushed ending.
Hey, we got to hurry.
Okay.
It would be Ghost of Mars, which is an unofficial remake, I might add, of Assault on Precinct.
Wait,
Yeah.
a few words. First of all, chubby heroes, no. It doesn't work, especially in
Cube?
that
Ice
film.
Cube.
And
Natasha Henstridge, not bad. Jason Stratham, kind of interesting.
Well, thank God that Natasha Henstridge was in it. You know who got hurt and was
Courtney
Courtney
Love.
Love.
Oh God.
Thank God, who cares? The movie still sucks.
I liked it.
oh my
terrible.
God.
It's not a great
can't even
movie.
get through
It's
it.
not
I
a
can't
really
even
good
get through
movie,
it.
but
No.
it's an enjoyable
I can't
watch.
even
It's a
get through
it's a
it.
great C film that you enjoy.
Well, that's
No,
I
it
guess-
isn't.
Well, that's
I
the end
was
of this
bored.
show.
Giant thumbs down.
Be sure to email us
Oh,
at
God. I'm with
CineFiles
Steve
at
for once.
tvmaniacs.net and tune in next week for more chat and more discussion, more debate, and we hope you enjoy.
God, we could have done an hour on John Carpenter.
Exactly.
Come on,
I could have too.
people.
I love John Carpenter. He's
Could have done an hour on They Live.
Yeah,
I could too.
maybe
I love
we
it.
could. I mean, I could do an hour on Prince of Darkness. Half hour talking, half hour beating you up. Oh, that was easy.